Hey everyone, I hope you had a great week. You're not too hungover from the World Cup, but there's another hangover I think I'd like to talk about, and that's maybe AI fatigue. Every day we've seen another post, another prediction about AI changing everything, and it is. Depending on who you ask, it's either the future of your business, the end of creativity, or maybe a bit of both. So sorry for this being another post on AI, but bear with me. So, a legal statement published this week caught my attention because it contains word from a friend of mine, a barrister called Richard Munden, because it's not actually about AI at all. It's about accountability, and that's particularly interesting because despite all the debate around AI regulation, the UK still doesn't have a standalone AI liability regime. So, rather than waiting for Parliament to create one, although an attempt has been made, a message from the UK Jurisdiction Task Force is that actually the courts already have many of the tools they need, and we kind of thought that would be the case. We've got existing legal principles in UK common law such as negligence, such as professional responsibility, and it's easy enough to apply that in their view to AI related harms. So if you're an agency, if you're a brand or a creative business, I actually think that's pretty significant because it means that the presence of AI doesn't necessarily make responsibility disappear. It has to be attached somewhere, and if you're working on an AI assisted campaign that it causes problems, if it infringes rights, if personal data is misused, or if something simply just goes wrong, the courts aren't going to stop necessarily at just the technology. We've seen this recently. They're going to look at the people and the businesses behind it. They're going to fill the gap that regulation currently leaves. I've been working with agencies for a long time, and some of this again feels pretty familiar. New technology arrives, predictions get bigger, the industry changes, the industry adapts. But what I think feels different this time is just obviously the speed of that changed. But what hasn't changed is the importance of human judgment. Also, there was a suggestion in the same statement that one day the discussion may not just be about the risks of using AI. It could be about whether or not a competent professional should have been using it in a certain way or should have been using it at all. And that's a conversation that I think feels closer than many people think, and certainly that clients are going to want to have with agencies. So for me, the takeaway isn't, as ever, whether or not this is good or bad tech, is that the technology is going to keep evolving. Clients are still going to expect somebody to be accountable for that and accountable when things go wrong. And we're increasingly seeing the conversation move beyond adoption towards better literacy, towards better ethical use of the tech, and towards better governance. Less discussions about whether or not AI should be used, because it is, and certainly more conversation about how it's used responsibly. So that's through policies, approval process, internal guidelines, contractual protections, clarity, as ever, around who's responsible when something goes wrong and what's going to be done to try and fix things, because the tools are always changing. There's always going to be another platform, but accountability isn't. That's never going to change, and that is a conversation that I think is worth having again. So hope that's useful for you on a Monday. If you're new to my content, thank you so much. It's hugely appreciated, and as ever, love to hear what you think. Cheers.